Most commonest criticisms of the fall nowadays is that they sound the same. You know what I mean? And I know damn well they don't sound the same. But like it's like some kind of crime. You know what I mean? Because they want this kind of like novelty value thing. People know nowadays that they can't lay that thing on me about being a pop star. They can't do it anymore. It's the really greatest achievement, really. I don't appreciate it. You get this guilt thing where you think you've come so far, but when you look around, you haven't come that far. I get more and more sort of frightened of things as I get older, you know. Sometimes the thing about being older is I think you can just like take it a lot more. Spirit handles it a lot better.
But I was thinking that too. Is there an American equivalent of the fall that is a fair comparison where I don't know, it's kind of because it's if you're into it, you're really into it. And I'm just trying to think of something that would be that would
Somewhat,
be
somewhat.
somewhat comparable and of the era too. The era that we're in right now. So basically, mid 80s, what are the mid 80s American acts that were kind of under the radar? But oh, know what I would say? REM, because
Yeah.
people that love REM, I don't know, my dad loved REM or still loves REM, but that was a band where they cut through, they also did covers too, like The Fall. And when they did covers, they kind of cut through to a different market. They gave them a little more prestige. They were also somewhat in the charts, but I don't think they ever reached the highest.
Yeah, right. Were they popular outside of the US? I mean, probably not in a way that,
Exactly. Similar, I want to say similar to The Fall. They were very much of a national commodity. And if you think about it in the way that The Fall has such a, pure connection to, he's writing about such a population of people and experiences that are so local that I think some of that is also in the REM music where because you know, they're from Georgia, so they have a southern aspect to it, even though they are liberal and artistic from an artistic college town. They have everyday life in there, even though it's a little bit abstract, the same way that Marky Smith's lyrics are. Where you're like, I like what he's talking about, but I also don't know what he's talking about. Like losing my religion. You just said, it's a pretty song, it's a pretty melody, but it's not as direct as it seems, at least to me.
yeah, or even, I mean, you can even go into like some of the sillier artists like a John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yeah, that's regional as hell. That's
Right.
Indiana. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
an Indiana
or
boy. Yeah, because I never even got into that at all. I couldn't because Indiana is just that's a no-go zone in the in the musical realm,
yeah, or
as far as my experience.
Jimmy Buffett even. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
how popular he is outside of. I'm sure you could find a bunch of country artists too that people don't necessarily get.
Yeah, so the Fall's highest charting, I want to say the Fall's highest charting single was like 15 maybe. And REM's is basically they had a couple at in the 20s. They had Losing My Religion go up to 4. They had The One I Love. Oh, I remember that one. 9. Stand 6. So they're kind of in the realm. They got it. The Fall got into the top 40 three times for singles, one time in the top 10 for their albums, zero in the top 10 for singles. Oh, well, let's get into it.
1986.
1986, heading back to the shop and going to pick up three singles this year from the Fall. And these singles are Living Too Late,
Mr. Pharmacist, and Hey Luciani.
Hey Luciani. I was saying
Luciani.
Luciani. I was saying Luciani too.
Hey Luciani.
Hey Luciani. I like all of these for different reasons, but I like them all in general because they are really interesting songs, and I think they almost go together so well. And like we talked about on the album, the LP from this year, a lot of these songs I would love to have just grabbed and put onto the album. We got Living Too Late, which is I think it's one of the, Mark's best as far as in a biographical context, where he's talking about himself a little bit. On the single, we still got the same crew, and we still got it produced by John Leckie. So we're getting a little bit of a John Leckie, encore with the singles on the way out. But these are recorded at Two or Yellow Number Two in Stockport and Square One in Bury. I think we'll talk about the little special promo gift that came along with the promotional version of this. Maybe when we flip the album over. Yeah, what do you like? You like Living Too Late?
Yeah, absolutely. Living Too Late is great, and then you flip it over and you just get to live too long.
I can't wait for Living Too Long.
You
I can't wait.
It might feel like it when you listen to 7 minutes of the first song, but it's worth it.
No, I like it for a different reason. I like that they have it on here because it is different, and it is actually different. It's not like shoulder pads, one and shoulder pads two. This is actually has something different going on, and I'm glad that it exists as the B-side to this 7-inch. And also in the middle of those two, don't we get a little hot aftershave bop? We get a little
Oh, yeah.
bop in the middle.
Little bop-a-doo-doo. I mean, and
Yeah.
there's even living too late, or sorry, living too late is kind of swingy aspects to it with that you're like, okay, it works well with the bopping song.
It does. It's a good lead off, but doesn't Living Too Late also have the slow burn aesthetic that we like, that Mark contemplative, but it does have this when I hear it, I'm not thinking it's like light, and it's also, even though the title would make you assume that it's a dark song, right? I'm living too late. I'm kind of out of touch. It doesn't really musically give you that sense where it's kind of like a depressed state. It is a very interesting fall sonic texture, which is really good. I like it. It always moves along at a nice tempo, and it always keeps my ear. And then the Living Too Long version is let's just wait for that one, because I think that one is just completely unique, and I would like to see that one even further developed. Should we get into this first one?
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's roll it. Living Too Late.
Crow's feet are engraved on my face, and I'm living too late. Try to wash the black off of my face, but it's engraved, and I'm living too late. Think I'm living too late.
July 1986. We got Marky Smith, Brooks Smith, Craig Scanlon, Steve Hanley, Simon Rogers, and Paul Hanley.
On Beggar's Banquet. Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's good. I love the little falsetto keyboard interludes that they have.
Mm-hmm. And also the violin, which might be that 3-string
Oh yeah, just
never tuned.
mashing it.
Oh yeah, I like that. It's so creepy, but it almost reminds me of like a screechy, crackly window, like old window that's just like you're trying to crack it open, get some fresh air in there, which actually really fits the dynamic of the song where everything is stale. Everything is, or everything is so new that it's stale. Or every conversation you have is stale because you know what the conversation's end is, like Mark puts it. I like this. This is one that's really actually quite a beautiful song, as usual, poetic, but actually directly poetic to probably a lot of experience that Mark had where he's not being occupied and what is it? It's almost like he's not.
He's mentally stimulated anymore.
Yes,
Like
yes, yes,
he's created his dream world around him, but it's becoming a nightmare of
yes. That's exactly what it
the
is.
sameness and
That's exactly what it is. The mental stimulation is not there. So everything is, even in the things he can't control, right? Not even the conversation or the people he surrounds himself with, which seems like there's even less of the variation and the alternatives, even going to a new bar and it all sucks. It all is so bad. It's all unthoughtful. It's all uncreative. It's all uninnovative. It's never going to be something surprising. It's really nice in that sense.
yeah, even how it kind
Mm.
of describes, yeah, just like almost like a depression, right? Like sleepless, I'm immune to things in my dreams. So you're just going through the motions, trying to find the joy you used to have doing the things that you used to like, and you're not sure where to go next.
There is an element that is like a letdown, but it's not for me, from my perspective, it's not quite a depression. It's almost kind of a you're just somewhat you're just unhappy. Yeah, I don't know. It's like just a letdown because you have such high expectations. And I think that's what he has. Because even when he's like talking about the the conversations he used to have, which was his favorite, talking in general, it's now become a thing where it's just the letdown at the end because once it starts, he already knows the end. So it might as well not be worth having, or it's a waste of time. So yeah, it's really good. It's really good, and it's like we're as usual we're putting him in there, but I think this one is it's so easy to directly put him in that because he does have that has that creative edge that's almost like constantly on 100 unless he's completely inebriated, which even then it seemed like he was still like, no, but we have to do it this way, right? Like he has such a clear vision. Even if he was so fucked up, he was just still, no, we have to do it this way. This is the only way to do it. He was so steadfast in his convictions that it was even going to see itself through in ways where he might not be completely mentally there. And this one is it just shows that he was able to put something together here. And that's a 4.5 minute song that really flies by when I'm listening to it. I just want to listen to it over and over again. Like you said, nice
Y-
interludes, music
Yeah,
variation.
it's slow and but yet like a short song, which is kind of strange for them.
Hmm. And know what it is? It's the space. It's the space within the music that really makes it a place you can go into. It's not, it's almost like you're not a passive listener. You're almost like able to go into it because there's space for you. When at this point in the Falls career and at this point in in their sound, they are really heavily getting that Bricks repetitive guitar riff, and this song does not have that, and it really allows the riff to be Mark throwing these words out there, which is sometimes it's real. I wish they did it more. I really wish they did it more, especially in this era. that needs a little kind of step back from the sunny bop, which we're about to get into. But they need a little step back and a little stripping it back and just get Steve Hanley in that rhythm section. Whoever is in the rhythm section at whatever point, get them to just do it and then let Mark just. It's no wonder that Mark knew that Steve Hanley was just really the heart and soul of the fall sound. It could have been any drummer really, but Steve Hanley with any drummer and then Mark doing poetry. that's pretty much that's the fall.
You always want more Mark, especially more good Mark.
More good, like very level-headed Mark, which is yeah, you do want this more frequently. Let's get away from this. Let's get away from this. This is actually too good. Let's have a little change of pace here, and let's listen to a Steve Hanley, Mark Smith credited track, "Hot Aftershave Bob." Does it say anything about this one on fall, annotated fall?
Not really. Talks about being writing a dance craze. This is in quotations, dance craze style song.
Dance craze? What kind of dance craze? It's 1986. I mean, there's dance clubs, but I wonder what is the fall dance craze? Hands in pockets? Do the Marquis Smith. I could actually see that. Do the Marquis Smith. You put your hands in your pockets and then walk around. I mean, you're a consummate shaver. What is this? What does this song make you feel?
I know Mark wasn't letting you up on stage without a clean face, so I'm sure they just got excited about it, talking about what they do every day.
So you're saying it's more of a rules. It's kind of like a reminder of the rules song. So he would throw this in the set list to remind the band if they started showing a 5 o'clock shadow, this Hot Aftershave Bop was going to be the first track in the set list, maybe even the last track too.
Well, he just stared at whoever he was pissed off at.
Well, it's kind of like it's such a bouncing tune to be looking at a guy and say
to be scolding
Hot
someone.
Aftershave Bop, yeah.
Bopping along, talking about aftershave. It's the longest 3.5 minute song that I've heard them play. I mean,
it's really the opposite of the last song, where we know that they like to throw in these little ditties, and and this one is just not. It's just not a lot going on to keep you thinking. You're just kind of passive. It's the opposite of the last one. It really is. It's just like an interesting juxtaposition. They put it on the same track list. I mean, I think it is better. It's right here instead of, after living too long and living too long together. There's just not a lot going on. The lyrics are nothing for me to really get interested or to get hooked into. There's a couple of good lines. I love a couple of the good words together. Furniture defrost is great. And then especially in relation to the Hot Aftershave Bop, the furniture defrost is like, but also here's us moaning, digging in our pockets again. Are these your English friends? When I catch that, I was always like, which character is saying that, and in what context are they saying, are these your English friends? And then he follows it up with fill the blender to the top again, which I like. I like that.
It's almost like they got a hot shave in some city they were on tour at, and like just flirting with some ladies. Oh, are these the English friends you talked about?
Oh, I thought you were going to even say, like they were getting a shave, but then they were brought there by the American manager, right? It's like, are these your English friends? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it could have it certainly could have been in America somewhere. Oh yeah, frozen margaritas. Yeah, I mean that sounds American.
Yeah. And so let's talk about this first, is that this was released as a 12-inch with these 3 tracks on Beggar's Banquet, but
Uh,
there was also a promotional 7-inch issued by Beggar's Banquet and featuring this track and Living Too Late. But the interesting thing is it came with a miniature bottle of hot aftershave bop aftershave. And this little bottle of aftershave was branded with the fall logo, which is basically the fall in big all capital letters. And then flipping it over, it says aftershave. It says a small H, a big O, and a small T. So you're hot. And then I bet I guess the quantity.
The bop is the quantity. Yeah, it says
The bop quantity.
Bop 500 bop
Oh,
milliliters.
that's what you're right. It says
bop
bop
milliliters.
milliliters. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the quantity is the bop. Okay, I like that. I like this. I almost wish. So we're flipping it over, so we might as well talk about the album art too. But this, I like this a lot. I almost wish this was the album art. This is an interesting. What do you think this smelled like? We have reached out and we've kind of tried to inquire to various sources that may have been able to maybe procure this as a fall head, and as a fall head that might be able to get a promotional item from the Beggar's Banquet. And there is someone that is looking into it for us. That's all I'm going to say. That we don't have any answers because I want to know, what did this smell like? What kind of aftershave? I mean, did it smell like just straight like alcohol? Because I would not be surprised. Straight gasoline? What does this smell like? Petrol?
Nice woodsy cedar scent.
What kind of smell would you want, or would you picture smelling on a fall product?
Or on a fall member? Who do you think smelled the best?
Who do I think smelled the best? Ooh, this is a good question. Then we're gonna exclude Bricks. Okay, we gotta exclude Bricks just on pure because it's an aftershave. So, I'm just gonna say Bricks probably smelled the best. But let's just say excluding Bricks. You know what? Paul Hanley always seemed put together. I know he's not. Oh, he's on this. He's on this recording.
Yeah,
so
he's on this
okay. Paul Hanley. If we're gonna include Simon Rogers too, Simon Rogers seemed like he was a magnet for very beautiful partners. So he had something going on, even if he smelled really bad. It was working. So
I'll take that. Yeah, I feel like Paul was definitely the most interested one in getting the ladies. So I bet he tried to keep himself pretty smelling fresh.
And I'm only just going off the visuals of the back of the album art that we've usually been seeing, right? So I'm gonna go with that. We know what Mark's gonna smell like, obviously. I mean, it's it's not a far stretch to say Mark is gonna smell like pub, right? It's easy.
Cigarettes and stale beer.
He's literally spending about what would you say, 8 hours of his day in the pub, and then let's be conservative and say with sound check, with green room time, with show, 4 to 5 hours in a music hall concert venue where he's basically doing the same thing. So, smoking cigarettes and drinking pints and having some whiskey and then having some champagne at the end. So we know what this is going to smell like. And yeah, I like this merch. I think maybe they were ahead of the game with the merch game. I mean, this wasn't merch, but this is making me want to be like, wait, who are you sending it to? Just the DJs? Come on, you got to be sending this out as a promo item.
I would buy anything that
Yes,
came with
you
a little
would. You
bottle
would
of
buy the
that.
hell out of this.
I would ever. I don't even care what the music is. Give me that weird aftershave.
Even if you opened it in the venue and you smelled, you say, "Can I smell it?" And you smelled it and it smelled really terrible, you'd probably be like, "I probably just need this bottle, you know? I should just need this bottle on my shelf to look at." It's a great item. I don't know if any other bands have picked this up and ran with it, but it doesn't even need to be aftershave, right? What could it be? A cologne, perfume. There's so many options. There's so many options.
Only
You,
things that smell.
all things that smell.
Axe body spray
A
covered with a
spray,
sticker.
a car fresh air freshener that
Ooh,
you hang on the
that would
mirror.
be cool. That would
That
be a
would be
good one.
nice. You like that? Okay, let's get that.
Those are slim.
Yeah, those are
Let's
easy to transport. You're right.
all we
Transport
need
those.
all we need is a little sample of the smell, and we can reverse engineer it into car freshener, and then we got
That
ourselves a product.
that's what I'm saying. If the guy I got working on this comes back with a little bit of some sort of data that we could use to replicate this, we can replicate this in any form. This is the next level. This is the next level of technology. Is for
Do you
we are
think
the
they just
fall.
do you think they just had like an intern taking a big like industrial size bottle, filling these all up
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
in the
Just
back
mixing up a big vat.
in the back of the van? Just
Oh yeah.
bloop, bloop,
Oh
bloop.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's keeping away spirits too, it's keeping away spirits. It's so potent. Um, it's taking care of a lot of your needs. So I don't have much more to say about the album art, to be honest. It's got a very heaven and hell type of vibe, with a guy in peril in the kind of the middle state. This is how I read it, in the middle state of the two realms.
Yeah, he's living too late. He's stuck in the middle, not sure where to go.
Mhm.
Yep, yep. You got a devil, got an angel, got some light at the end of the tunnel, or the darkness that befalls you.
It kind of just throws it off though, because the image is so serious, and even the guy is sitting there. It looks like a business guy. He's in a suit, right? It's a guy that's contemplative, and it's such a serious scene. But then down on the side, it just says "hot aftershave Bob," with a period, and it just kind of throws it. It kind of throws it. I think that's why they made it red, to make it kind of blend in,
Yeah, to try to hide it.
to
Yeah.
try to hide it, but really they should not have just put any of the song titles on here at all.
No, yeah,
Just
even
put the fall.
if you just left the fall, yeah, you would have
Yeah.
been fine. Um, yeah, and
Also,
I mean,
also adding the periods. Why did they add the periods for
I don't know.
the fall? The band has a period. The song titles have periods. Thinking about Mark's literary background, you think he would have said, "Guys, this is. Let me tell you something, guys. These aren't sentences." Let me tell you guys a couple things. So, and
It
if we flip it over, do you see
it gets
anything?
it gets worse. I
Oh, we
mean,
flip it over. Let's tell them
it's
what they're
a
seeing. Let's
like a
tell.
circle, grayed out, whited out background of each of the members just kind of playing. It looks nothing like the front. You would not flip
No,
this over and expect it to look like this on the back.
no, this looks very 80s. It's
Yeah,
individual portraits of the band
they're
playing
good.
live.
They're good photos. They're
Yeah, they
actually
are cool photos. It's good
actually
color.
you can actually make out who they are and what they're doing versus how tiny they make them sometimes. But
Hmm. I
yeah, I don't
kind of
know.
I
The front to the back juxtaposition is strange.
But also, you know what's strange too is, okay, I see Steve Hanley, I see Craig, I see Bricks, I see Mark, of course, I see who I assume is Simon Rogers, but I do not see Paul Hanley.
Where do you see Mark?
I think at the very top.
Is that him? I mean, I guess he's got a microphone.
Yeah, that's Mark. That's Mark. That's Mark singing into the microphone. Unless he started letting someone else walk around the stage with no instrument and a microphone, which would be great.
He looks awfully bald there. I don't know.
I think his hair is just matted down. Yeah, he's got the microphone. Yeah, it says Paul Hanley percussion, but I don't see him on here, which is pretty bogus.
Yeah, he probably was out of the band by the time this got completed. It would be my
I think,
guess.
oh yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think you're right. Or he was on his way and he got the credit
Yeah,
as
they recorded
playing.
it in early in the
Yeah,
80s, and then they didn't release this till July, so he's probably
yeah,
was gone by then.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot of art on the front, especially for how simplistic the next two singles are. It's weird that they went to this big effort for this one.
It is very strange. And it almost, what it almost seems like they blew their budget on Klaus. It's how it seems like they blew their budget on Klaus album cover because the follow-up ones are, I know at least one of them is Mark's sister, if not both. They look so, we're going to find it out. We'll get to the bottom of it. But as we do, we were living too late, but now let's live a little bit longer just so we can experience one more beautiful rendition, alternative rendition of Living Too Long.
Trying to wash the black off of my face, but it's engraved, so I'm not so late, so trying to wash the crow's feet off of my face, but it's engraved, so I'm not so late, so
How do you think they're making that?
Bonging.
Yeah, the bong.
I assume it's got to be some sort of kick drum, right?
It does sound like a kick drum and a
But way
floor tom
bigger.
together. You know, both of the lowest drums you can have together. But there's an aspect of it that, you know, I do think it's a floor tom or a kick drum, but there's an aspect of it that makes it seem like it's so detuned where it's flabby, right?
Yeah, I was
Like
gonna
the
say
skin.
it sounds open, or maybe like
Yeah,
there's not even
open.
there's not even like a front side on it or
Mhm,
something, right?
mhm.
Like it's just
They put
kicking
the mic
kicking
in.
the
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. They put the mic next to it too. So you know Jim O'Rourke, he's like he produced a lot of albums in indie world, and also he's a big Drag City guy. And he moved to Japan, and because they are such a quiet culture, he was trying to keep his recording process up, and he couldn't do drums in his apartment in Japan. And so he said, because he said the next door neighbor was an older elderly woman that would get like as mad as a Japanese woman would get, where he did not want to experience it because it would just throw him off. But so he figured that if he put a microphone next to basically a kick drum head that was not on the kick drum even, and put the microphone next to it and turn the microphone up as loud as it could go basically, and just tap on it as lightly as he could on the skin, it would have this big reverberation sound of just like this flabbiness, but and that's what it kind of
yeah,
reminds me of.
yeah,
So cool.
because it does sound like a drum head. It just
It does.
it doesn't sound like it's not something else, I don't think, right?
Yeah. It's just not in tune with a note. That's why it
No.
sticks out so much. This is the reason why I like this song and this version, is because, and we've somewhat talked about this in the past, which is I want an album of all fall demos. I want a compilation. And I think there is one, but I haven't been able to find it. I think it's from 2002. And I don't know who put it together. But if there's any fall heads out there that have the fall demos and rarities album and can send it to me or let me know where to find it, I would love to listen, because the fall in demo form, when the fall are already so DIY, do it yourself, and so natural and organic that when they're not in the studio and they're making songs and they're recording in their like their living room, right? And they're just playing acoustic guitar and just recording on a tape recorder. This is the fall at their most natural. And I think that when they go in the studio, sometimes it almost it deters them from being the complete organic selves that they usually are, almost always. I want the demos. I want the demo
Yeah,
to poke through, man. Yeah.
This feels like it's almost like the first time that Mark allowed himself to go back to a song and actually make it better, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, we got Living Too Late down, but I've been thinking about it more, and let's make it a lot better. Because I mean, I don't know, they draw the lyrics out to be more interesting, more descriptive. Like we said, it's a slow burn 4-minute song, but this is, it gives you the 7.5. It gives you that full experience that you're used to with the fall, and there's really not much repetition in it. It's kind of burning through the story the entire time.
It is, you're right. It's different than the first version, the Living Too Late, because that one, as we said, it doesn't have any guitars. This one has basically all guitars and all different types of guitars, which at some points I even think it sounds like a electric guitar that's not plugged in is playing some rhythm, or just plugged directly into a tape machine. And then there's other guitars going on that are not playing brick style repetitive same riff over and over again. It's kind of going back to the Craig Scanlon style approach and some of that Mark Riley style guitar playing, even Martin Brahma style, where it's a lot more abstract and it's a lot more in the moment and not trying to just do something because it's a melody. And I like it a lot. I like this. I think it's really cool to have the demo. Basically, it doesn't say it, but basically have the demo on the backside and then the proper version on the front. It's really cool, and they're different enough where you get something unique about each one.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's not at all that you got two songs on one. You feel ripped
To get your
off.
shoulder pads
Like,
5. Yeah.
Wait for shoulder pads 1B.
Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. Can I just have these songs on, can I have these songs on the LP? This is all I'm asking for. And I'm not talking about Hot Aftershave Pop. I'll take both of these.
You're still talking about the CD. You want that American CD. You're excited about it.
Yeah, you're right. I got that fucking CD. I want the cassette. Yeah, you're right. I want it all. So let's go on to the second single. So we got the second single, Mr. Pharmacist, released September 1st, 1986 on Beggar's Banquet. A beautiful traditional 7-inch single, but it's a single, but we get 3 songs as we're used to from the fall. We're going to get the extra one. The 7-inch has 2 tracks, Mr. Pharmacist and Lucifer over Lancaster, and the 12-inch version. It's so interesting. They had almost the 12-inch for all the singles, and the 12-inch has the extra track, which is the Auto Tech Pilot, which I'm excited to get into, and I know you are too. Should we lead it off with one that we're familiar with at this point? But as usual, let's cut into it. Mr. Pharmacist.
Mr. Pharmacist, can you help me out today in your usual lovely way? Oh, Mr. Pharmacist, I insist. Can you give me some of the Pepsi, Mr. Pharmacist? Dear Pharmacist, won't Won't you please give me some energy, Mr. Pharmacist, Mr. Pharmacist.
My hot take for this episode is that this track is the least interesting out of every track that we're going to listen to in tonight's episode listening session.
Oh,
And
you even over shoulder pads number 1B?
well, no. Actually, oh, you're right. You're right. Shit, you already cut me down. You're right. I'll say on some days, this one actually it will be below shoulder pads 1B, but there is a correlation between this assessment and this song being uniquely out of all these tracks and not a fall
Yeah, a
original song.
cover
right?
song, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there is a direct correlation there for this. And I'm not saying it's a bad song. I just think that it's
I think personally we've just listened to it too many times.
I think so
last
too. I think
in the
so
last
too.
2 or 3 weeks, and it's just like, because I remember the first time I was like, oh man, killing it, and now yeah, you're right. I'm like, okay, I don't even get to the end of the 2 minutes before I'm like, I've heard enough.
But and also what gets me too is this is obviously one of Mark's favorite songs, right? Or a song that Mark loves. And it makes sense because the content of the song is very much intriguing to Mark's daily life and his the things that he likes to write about. What I really think is the problem is it's a good song, it's a great cover. They're so good at covers, and actually, let's talk about this too, because Brix is always like, "What we were almost." People really liked our cover songs more than everything else, but I don't think it was even that. I don't think it was that people liked them more. It was that the cover songs cut through to a different audience that is familiar with another song that made it more popular. So obviously, if you show this to your mom and she knows the original song, she's gonna be like, "Oh, that's that band that plays Mr. Pharmacist, right?" Yeah, they're gonna have the reference point that makes it a lot easier. But the problem with this song for me is Mark, I think, could write and has actually written multiple songs that are about procuring pharmaceuticals, mind altering, mind enhancing, mind numbing pharmaceuticals. And he's written songs that are much deeper than this song. And that's when I hear him singing a song like this, it's it's fun, but it doesn't really have the staying power of a fall song that has times minimum 3 layers more.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is
Yeah.
just a quick punk song that you're like, oh man, they don't usually sound like that. That's good.
Yeah. They don't really go into the garage, right? The garage rock territory, even though that is definitely an influence. So, Mr. Pharmacist, great cover. Let's get into something fresh, something new. Something? Could this have been on Ben Sinister? Let's listen and try to decide. Lucifer over Lancaster. Am I saying Lancaster? I mean, what am I saying it
I think
right?
that's how you say it. Lancashire. I mean, either way, we're gonna get abused for
I
pronouncing
know. Editor's note. Lancashire.
Lancashire.
Let's say it a couple of times. Lucifer over Lancashire.
Lucifer over Lancashire.
Lancashire. Lucifer over Lancashire.
It's far greater than everybody that's ringing.
All right, I'll play this motherfucker.
I have to disagree. I don't have any training at all of that sort.
Saw 6 men under a tall tower, break into hell. I like I'll bring it to you gently.
Lancashire.
At the very beginning, there's like a bouncing back and forth static, and it's right at when the guitars are within the first 30 seconds of them playing Lancashire. We're gonna have to go over there. How far is it from Manchester? 48 minutes. Oh, we're going over there. It's an hour on the train.
Yeah, scratching.
Yeah, that almost sounds like it's from a demo, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mark came into the studio and said, "Hey, put this on the tape, John." And John Lecky's like, "Not a fucking again, not again."
What
No
is
wonder
it?
it's the
What
last
is-
time.
What is it? It's just
Yeah. What part do you want? It's chick, 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 chick. Oh, can you put that at the beginning and the end of the track? That would be great. Oh yeah, of course. We're in fucking Abbey Road studio. I would love to spend time splicing in some cassette demo recording that you have. That's not even your song, maybe. uh no wonder John Leckie was just like, I need a break. He probably would have gone back to work with them, but or maybe he does. I'm not sure, but this is a good song. I like this song. This song,
I do too. Yeah.
yeah, this song rocks. The only thing I can say, being to be critical, if I heard myself say this, I'd say shut. This guy needs to shut up. But it's too long. It's too long for what it is. It's too long, and I never, I'm only being critical because that's all we need to be doing here to make this intriguing. This is a good song.
But if you didn't have a 5-minute song, you would have 4.5 minutes of music on a 7-inch, because it would have only been these two. It would have been Mr. Pharmacist and this. So I think the consummate professionals we always claim to be, they got to fill the wax. They got to fill
They
it up.
gotta fill it. You're right. You're right. There's a lot of, there's a lot of winning. There's a lot of shinning. There's a lot of typing and flying at the end. And there's, I do like Mark's delivery on this song is really good too. I really love the Mark's delivery. Like going into that falsetto. I always want Mark to get up there because that is just a signature. And when people say he wasn't a good singer, he's obviously hitting the note.
I was gonna say
every
he's hitting the
time.
note that he wants to hit.
He's hitting the note he wants to hit every single time. And if that's not a technical, singing skill, I don't know what is, because that is definitely he can do that repetition on command. And I never hear anyone sing like that. That's almost like a sweet, that's almost like some southern, American southern, calls where you would do that out in a place that Mark is definitely not interested in going, which is the country. That's the type of sound where you're cutting through so that animals hear it. And that's the sound that Mark is making. Huh. Well, he's doing it well, and I like that song. Another one I put as a contender to be on a proper LP, but not more so than the last track that we're going to talk about, but not before we look at this album artwork, this beautiful display, almost a classical style, almost like a Michelangelo or even a Da Vinci type of scene that I have. It's just almost burning my eyes. Just my retina's just looking at this thing because it is so outstandingly
Swirl.
beautiful.
You like the record swirl?
Yeah, so we got a purple. We got a purple. It's not even swirls, concentric circles, and Mr. Pharmacist with a lot of inappropriate punctuation going on throughout.
You got the
theme.
fall with the period again too. That must be their new logo.
Yeah, that's their new logo, the fall period, and then Mr. Pharmacist with multiple periods. You can
They're
decide where
written-
you like them.
Written out in I think it's like a whiteout, right? It appears
Yeah.
to be.
I certainly hope it's white out. So let's flip this over because I hope that the back is better, and it is. And
Yeah, I think-
almost the back should be the front.
So yeah, this Mark said that this was a free newspaper that was delivered to his house regularly, and he just liked it, so he fixed it up.
I already love that. I wish this was the cover. I would definitely be more likely to buy this if this was the cover. The front actually makes me almost not want to buy it. It almost looks, the front almost looks like a record company made that to look punk rock and just failed miserably. It's trying to be so off the cuff DIY punk, but it's really falls flat. It actually has the opposite effect. But the back is, so what do we got here, Steve? We got a newspaper that is almost a collage of
So the advertiser or something
Mhm.
like that, and then
Mhm.
you got the fall written on it, got a picture
Mhm.
of Mark. And then
one of the best.
yeah, it's a great picture. He's not bald in that one.
Yeah, and Steve, actually that is Craig because I only can picture him because he has the left-handed guitar. I mean, he's playing left-handed, so that
now
is Craig.
I guess in the beginning of Lucifer over Lancashire, that is believed to be Craig Scanlon's voice in the beginning calling into a radio show.
That is Craig Scanlon?
That's what they say.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a possibility.
Oh, that's a possibility. Okay.
Well,
It's researched possibility.
researched, they say, is said to be.
Okay,
That
I
Craig
like that.
Scanlon.
I'm just gonna go forward and just start. And I will be telling people that that is Craig Scanlon moving forward, just so everyone knows. But this is very, that's so fun because I was wondering whose voice that was for the longest time, and it's such a good voice. Like, man, it almost makes me wonder what could I we hear Craig Scanlon on the Gang vocals, backing vocals on numerous fall tracks, but what is a Craig Scanlon singing voice? I would I would love to get into some Craig Scanlon solo albums tracks because he's got a good speaking voice. It's so good. And it was mixed in so well where it makes you almost like you are listening to the radio, whatever he was, if he was calling into the radio show, like see, like put your ear to the radio, say, "Oh, what is he talking about?" Huh? Almost like he's giving a sermon, but not like a
Very.
Mark sermon.
It seems like it was very accusatory of the radio host. And the guy says, "I don't have any training of that sort at all."
Oh, I like it. I like it. The back is great. Totally good. It makes up for the front. Man,
But
that front is, but flip it, flip it. Okay, we're flipping it. I don't want to spend any more time. I don't want to spend any more time.
listen to the back as we enjoy it.
Okay, so what do we got on the back, Steve?
Auto Tech Pilot. This is Mark becoming a boomer, I think, really getting in his own head and his own paranoia about life around him.
Oh, that's how you read it. I like that. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't an old man at this point, but I could see that there is the paranoia. There is the signature fall paranoia in this that is that is beautiful because it has the moving bass line that's like a detective theme where you are off already. You're off. You don't have your balance, so you're kind of put into a little bit of a corner where you're trying to decipher what is happening around you. This is another track where If it was on, this is actually the main one I would say. Put this on Ben Sinister, and I'm
Yeah,
loving that album even more.
absolutely. Yeah, this is a great song. There's no reason it's on the back of a 12-inch
Yeah.
buried somewhere.
I was trying to put it together, like why is this kind of a secondary song? And the only thing is there's a big tape edit in the middle of the song where it cuts into another part. And I think maybe from a production side, the band could be like, that's so blatant that it's not us just playing the whole song that they didn't like that. That's my only
Yeah.
rationale, and I'm only rationalizing it for them because it's such a I want it on there,
Or
and I
maybe it
actually
just
like it. I
it,
like that.
it wasn't done, maybe they added the whole second half. They only
Yeah,
had the
yeah. Or they fucked up, like they messed up, so they had to edit it. So in their mind, they said, no, let's not put that on the album." Like in the back of their mind, they said, "There's something about that one that wasn't the best." But it is, even with the edit. The edit's so clean. It's John Leckie doing an edit. It sounds like musical. This song has everything too. It has a build up. It has the creepy walking up a stairs vibe. It has the Mark overlapping vocals, which we always love. The only thing that's not really working is the mix is not. It's kind of like a preliminary mix that they probably just were like, that's good enough. They probably would have done it. They would have mixed it better if it was on the LP, but they were
yeah,
probably just like, yeah, this is good.
they already decided it wasn't going to be, so they moved
Yeah,
on.
yeah. They said, "What do you have for the backside of the single?" And they said, "Oh, we definitely want Mr. Pharmacist. That's our hit. That's our cover." They said, "What do you want on the back?" Autotech Pilot was good enough. You guys want to remix it? No, it's good. Because even the drums are so far back. The bass sounds great, even though sometimes it's like really trying to find the rhythm with no drums playing. I like that though. And once again, another fall song of this era where it doesn't have Bricks playing the straightforward melody, and it has the multiple guitars playing together, not melodically. Oh man, that's the sweet spot for me as far as the fall, when they're not getting hyper repetitive and they're getting more off the rails. Even has a xylophone, even has some wind. Una would be proud. I mean, actually, this was 1986. I think they might have got. I think they might have heard the Fates. They might have heard Una playing the BBC keyboard that plays the wind or the electronic instrument, and said, "Ooh, I think we're going to take a little note from a former founding member that this is going to be where it's at." Man, that's a good song. So, what do you feel about the Auto Tech pilot? Is it an Auto Tech that's a pilot? Is it um the automatic tech of the pilot? Is it the tech pilot that is automatic?
I mean, you saying this computer thing is getting out of hand. So I think it's just he's worried about automation coming in to 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 take us out, to take out the human race. I think this tech pilot isn't going to land.
Yeah, isn't
I
going
mean,
to land. Yeah.
it could. I mean, is he going back into just like the Manchester like manufacturing district? Are they starting to bring robots in and shit? And is he mad about that? I don't know.
Compute garbage in, compute garbage out is I mean, it's the computer, it's the dawning of it's actually very interesting and timely because we're in the dawning of the AI era. And I do get the feeling of this dynamic where this character is maybe concerned with that. I could see it as being concerned with maybe he's going to be taken over by this entity, and that is the basically the crash landing, right? For him, for humans for this, and I can kind of see a nice mirroring of that in the modern world. That's why this one is so good, because I don't really know what's going on, and I love it. I love it because every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is so good. The way it starts with the three real loud ricochets, that is so good. And then it even has a time aspect, as Mark should put in, but at 12:05 a.m. Maniac at the door.
I mean, interrupting his TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
Tech pilot isn't going to land. Now, what is a tech pilot though? Like I was always taking it as the auto tech, like the person that is working on that can work, I should say, on machinery, aviation machinery, automobiles. But that is also a pilot, and then they're up there, and then they're about to they're coming into conflict with some mechanical issue.
Our friendly researcher Dan says it might be about a new trial of car that was coming out. The trial might mean a pilot test. Nobody's really sure.
Okay, I like that. We're all on the same page. I love it. That's great.
Yeah, Autotech was an international automotive technology exhibition held in Birmingham in 1985. Mark's just looking at the old newspaper.
Yeah, of course. It makes sense with the back. It makes sense with the back of it.
picking out words that are interesting.
I didn't even consider that as another further alternative meaning of those three words is the auto tech, basically, let's call it a convention, right? But then the pilot of that. Like the pilot, the trial.
Test. Yeah, the trial.
So I didn't even consider that, which is great. So
yeah, I didn't even think about automotive either. I didn't auto tech didn't scream automotion to me.
Yeah. But that's the great thing about those three words is you can latch on to whatever one is the most salient to you at the given time, or based on your previous experience in the world, right? Some people just latch onto the tech and be like, oh, what is the the technology or the technical aspect of being either of the other two things, right? So you can connect them in any way. It's almost like a triangulation of whatever you want, however you want to order them. That's really fun. I think we agree. Great song. Put it on the fucking album, please. Put it on my CD. All right, let's head into the last single